Hello and welcome to the Other 14 FC podcast. I'm Alex, Crystal Palace fan.
And I'm Tom, a West Ham fan.
This is your podcast for everything not top six. Tired of your team being last on match of the day, not getting the flowers they deserve? Well, that's about change. Tom, what do we have for listeners this week?
Come on, Oracle, wheel out your crystal ball, get on your high horse. It's time for some of the absolute worst predictions you're ever gonna hear. Last disclaimer, this is recorded a couple of weeks before release as Alex has to go to America to do a shotgun wedding by an Elvis impersonator.
No, that was my plan last time I went.
Well, I assume that was your plan this time, like, 'cause you've been married, you've had a fiance for a year. I thought you were just jetting off to Vegas for the weekend.
God, that was... Well, we went to Vegas last time, didn't we? And that was the plan. But then I looked into the Vegas impersonator weddings, and it looked a lot more depressing online than I thought it was going to be. And a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be as well. So, yeah, gave it a bit of a swerve on that one. I think looking more at the drive-through wedding type of thing this time around, that'd be a bit of me. But, yeah. Anyway, what you got yell at clouds at? What you been angry about, you old man?
My old man yell at clouds... this week, sternum tattoos. It's the worst tattoo pain placement I've had so far. I've generally mostly done the easy places to tattoo, except for like I've done my fingers, my hands, and did my Achilles tattoo a few days ago, which wasn't great. But sternum tattoo, I don't know. There's just something about this soft belly of mine that just that and rib sort of area. It was the worst tattoo pain I've had so far.
Mate, you know how hard that with tattoos like me. You need to try again on your arse and see how that feels. That pain.
I imagine that was next to nothing because my neck didn't really hurt.
Mate, I'm not gonna lie, it was fine for most of it, and then the colour on my arse that was a lot of pain. I
feel more sorry for your tattoo artist that you had to look at your ass for an hour.
What was it when he was putting a stencil on? Steph walked in, and all she saw was a guy on his arse with me and my trousers down. And she was like, "What's
so why is the tattoo artist also got his trousers down, Alex?"
It's at my mate's barber's as well, and he said he came in for a haircut a week later. He was like, "I've never felt more sorry for a man in my life than the geezer who was tattooing your friend's arse for 3 hours."
What are you angry about?
Life getting me down. That's what I'm angry about. You know, it's just one of those days at work where everything is like whack-a-mole here and there. Like one problem goes, another one comes. I had a wedding this weekend, which was fantastic, but obviously quite tired and a little bit hungover still from that. Working late, and then it all just adding up. That's probably what I yell at, just a generic yell at life at the moment. But it's all going to get better because going to America and work and your miserable self will be a distant memory for 3 weeks.
He's going to miss me. Don't worry about that, listeners.
Not even the slightest, but yeah. Anyway, should we take a break and get into our predictions for the season?
Let's do it.
Okay, and we're back. So, Tom, we're going to start with our league table predictions for the season, yeah?
Yeah, let's go position by position, excluding the so-called top 6 teams.
Yeah, how did we do this last year? We did like that, didn't we? And then we just noted down each other's.
Yeah, I think we just kind of went who we had at the top, and then if we had which we're definitely going to have very different ones. If you listen to last week's podcast, we have a few differing opinions on a couple of the teams in the bottom half. I think one of us breaks where we have our next team, and then we discuss where the other one has that team.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. I think we got a bit all over the place that last year, so let's try and keep it tight. We won't, but
we won't. But it will descend in. It's going to descend into chaos after about 3.
Yeah.
I think we both probably got the same team at the top, right?
I don't think we will. I will disclaimer to all of this. I've gone bold with me getting almost everything right last year prediction wise. I've gone bold here this year, and as you said,
it's gone to your head, right? The oracle has gone to your head.
It's gone big.
He's smoking the crack.
Honestly, some of these I may be smoking crack when I thought of it. But,
okay, well, all right. Well, let me go in level-headed with my highest placed other 14 team. I have Aston Villa finishing in 6th, which is Unai Emery's sweet spot. His floor as a manager. They've never not finished in the top 7 since Emery has been in charge, and this will give them, I imagine, Europa League qualification, gets Emery back into the Europa League. They go on and win it again. Sevilla, Aston Villa, Villarreal. It's Emery. It's the Europa League. I have them finishing 6th.
I don't have them finishing 6th. I have them finishing 8th.
8th, the worst league position of Unai Emery at Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think balls out, Champions League. They go too much for it. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, but the last time they were in the Champions League, they finished 6th.
Yeah, but I think they're going to go for it harder this time. Harder.
Really?
Far.
You think they're going to finish 8th?
Yeah,
No.
I do.
Well, maybe they'll get the Conference League next year then, which they would absolutely steamroll, even though they should have won it previously, and they didn't.
I'm thinking, transfer-wise, have they done enough? I don't think they have.
I mean, I'm not high on the Garnacho signing, but I do think they still have plenty of talent in that team, and I quite like the midfield signings. I think they need to kick on, and they need to come in and play well. But
I think losing Tillemans and Morgan Rogers, 2 first-teamers, basically out of the squad, more football, more important football. Bringing in, I'm not sold on the Swiss geezer, if I'm being honest. João Gomez.
I like Manzambi. I think Manzambi, Gomez, you put like Kamara next to them, or Andre Onana, like. Sorry, Amadou. I just did the famous meme. My name's not even Andre.
I mean, they're doing it with less. I feel like they're doing it with less players and less highly talented players than they had before. I
agree. I just have confidence in Emery that he'll get them to finish 6th. How many times last season, towards the end of the season, were we saying Villa aren't playing really well, but they finished 4th?
Yeah, I mean, they did have a bit of a sticky patch in the middle there when they could have been coming first. Well, first or second. I don't know. I think all good things have to come to not an end. I still think 8th is a good finish, and I think they'll go deep in the Champions League. But I just think they'll not lock even. I just think something's going to go over a little bit wrong this season. They're going to put too much on the Champions League.
Maybe you're right. Like the last time they were in the Champions League, they took PSG within an inch of their lives in the quarterfinals. They were really, really good throughout that time. But then, as I say, they finished 6th that season. I just have the only reason they finished 7th in his first season in charge is because he took over when they were 16th. I'm just putting my faith in Emery and Villa that the floor for them is just so high that I just don't really see any of these other teams getting like that high above them.
I do. I don't know why. I just got that feeling.
I think they still have so much quality in the team, like Emi Martinez, Ezri Konsa, like Boubacar Kamara.
You mean 2 players I don't really rate there.
Okay, Ollie Watkins, John McGinn.
Ollie Watkins, I think, might go over the hill this season.
Man, I don't know. I think that's a big prediction, and maybe it is. Maybe that is very bold because maybe I'm just going with what feels familiar, and Villa have proven to me over the last 3 seasons that they have a floor which I just don't see as lower than 6th.
What the hell? Just seen a notification Man United have reached a verbal agreement with Ollie Watkins over the summer. That's got to be nonsense, surely.
That would be really, really bad timing. And also strange for them.
Man United ready to complete Aston Villa double to bring Ollie Watkins to United. I mean, I don't think I'm seeing this from any reliable sources right now, but...
I was going to say, are you seeing this from ketchup and barbecue?
Yeah,
because
do you know what? When I look underneath all the Twitter people, yeah, I mean, it's making news, but
because it's not on BBC or the Athletic. So
okay, that's all a bit of nonsense. I googled him just to look at his age, because I did feel a bit bad saying over the hill, but yeah, I think that's all a bit of nonsense. I think they still have a lot of money to make a lot of transfers to fill gaps and be ready for the Champions League in a better position. But at this point in time, when they haven't brought in anyone proper with that Morgan Rogers money, bold prediction.
Wait, it is bold. It is bold. But like, how many times last season did you say Morgan Rogers wasn't actually delivering to and like you said last week, like how much they've played an absolute blinder to get 117 mil for him.
Yeah, I know, but he's still a player that was taking other players out of the game. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean he's a really, really talented player. I think there'll be a little bit of regression with the Champions League with the like losing Tielemans and Rodgers, but I just think sixth will be their floor.
Nah, go on eighth. I don't think that defence holds up anymore. As well, does that mean Conser, Matty Cash, Tyrone Mings, Lindelof, Digne having one of the worst games of football anyone's ever seen? Pau Torres isn't a good player.
I mean, Ian Maatsen is a decent player. Pau Torres is all right. Like, I think
Pau Torres is not all right.
He's all right.
No,
like he's okay. Like you could improve on him for sure.
I'm not having him as being all right. I just don't. Yeah.
Right. Well, who have you got finishing higher than Aston Villa then?
Got Everton. Everton in sixth.
You've gone bold. I've got Everton in eighth. They are my next team, so like we're not far off. I just think 13th to 6th is a massive jump. 13th to 8th, and what I imagine will be Conference League qualification as it was this season. I think that's the perfect spot for Everton.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think I've gone a bit too bold with that one, but when I was doing it, I was just like, who says no to this? Like, who says no to Moyes getting them this?
I mean, we're both backing them to a settled squad and Moyes to look up the table and to take them higher. I just think it's almost, maybe I just think Europe Conference League qualification would be better for them. Like, it would be a much more steadying, like, rise up. I feel like them jumping from 13th into Europa League football might be just a bit too much of an ask in one season sort of thing.
No, I've got 04 to 06 Moyes in my head at Everton.
I mean, that man had a lot more ginger hair on his head than he does nowadays.
Yeah,
and he also had eyebrows.
I've got faith in him. I don't know why. I think a couple of good signings here and there.
I mean, I agree. Like, I've got them in 8th, so like I think we're both on both backing Everton to improve on where they were.
Yeah, fair. I think I'll go next to the next highest team. That's another very bold one. I've got Leeds in 7th.
You got Leeds in 7th?
Yeah, I've got
you know, you were really smoking crack when you put these together. Jesus.
Maybe I've been tired from the wedding on the weekend, but
I've got Leeds in 13th, mate.
I mean,
I just think that is perfect. Like, for Leeds, I just see steady improvement. I just don't. I think listen to our last episode. I have concerns that it doesn't just all just work. Like, I don't think it just like you're seemingly just thinking that they just kick on massively.
They're going to do a Leicester City, mate. No one's going to be injured the whole season, and they're going to finish 7th after doing that.
7th, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like crazier things have happened. Sunderland finished 7th this season, so it is definitely crazier things have happened.
I've got Leeds, Strongbow, Viduka vibes going on here as well. I'm really going to bring it back to the noughties here with my predictions.
That is the worst thing to base your predictions off is what happened 25 years ago.
Nah, mate, knowledge. You got to look at the past to look at the future.
Like, what can 25 years ago tell you about football now? The game has changed massively, but oh my god.
Nah, football.
Give me the argument for Leeds finishing 7th then, because I would need massive convincing on that.
I gave you the argument last week when we were talking about Harry Wilson, Calvert-Lewin linking up. You got James Trafford, who's going to not let any goals go past him the whole season. What was it, 38 clean sheets? What more do you need?
Everything Leeds do is blessed with gold.
Yeah. Screw it.
Yes. The highest pitch I've ever heard you at. Yeah.
I've just got faith.
You just think they're just gonna Daniel Farker is gonna take this team to 7th in the league.
Yeah. I think it. I think what stops? Like I said about Everton, what stops them from keeping going on the run they ended last season on?
Injuries, not having a plan B, getting found out.
Nah, they're gonna do exactly what they did, and they're gonna have Harry Wilson bossing the show. I have so much faith in that man doing well there. If he goes and they bomb, they might get relegated. That's literally. He's my
If
star.
Harry Wilson doesn't do well there, when how many good seasons has Harry Wilson had at the age of 29?
I don't know. 2?
Like, you see what I mean? Like,
yeah. But he was doing it in a Fulham team that had no one really there to do anything else. And I think this Leeds team has a bit more than that Fulham team.
Yeah.
That fair?
Yeah. I think it's a better position than Fulham were in last season.
And I think he gets more freedom in games because not guessing, but look at him. He fizzled out at the end of last season, but it's probably because people realised, oh wait, we should probably block the geezer that does everything for this team, or double up on the geezer that does everything for the team.
I mean, with half the league finishing in European places, it wouldn't surprise me if they got European football. I would, if you had said sort of 10th or something, I would have been like, yeah, I could see that a lot more. Them jumping up to 7th when they were only really safe from relegation with like 3-4 games to go.
Yeah, but
like even with the change of formation and yes, they were never really desperately in that battle. They were kind of just paddling above it, steadily getting their points on the board. They didn't go off. They didn't just kick on and just absolutely blitz away from the pack sort of thing. They just kept kind of steadily got that. Even with the Daniel Farke's most amazing moment of management in his Premier League in his season, multiple seasons in the Premier League, which had been up to that point an absolute failure until that one decision. I think I said it last week. I've just got concerns that there just isn't a plan B. I do, but like I have them finishing 13th, so I don't think I'm not predicting that they struggle. I just don't see them completely like bamboozling the rest of the league and finishing 7th.
I do. I see it. Too many teams playing in Europe as well. That is a big factor I put into this. The amount of teams in Europe.
There is going to be a big shake-up. I've got a big shake-up with like none of the 3 teams who are playing in the Europe. Actually, none of the 4 teams from the Europe scratch that. Apart from Villa, the other 3 teams in Europe, I don't have finishing in a European spot again.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough. That's a lot of my bases have been on that as well, apart from a couple. But yeah, it's fair. Okay, you want any more convincing?
I mean, it's bold. It's bold.
Okay. I mean, we're also hitting my bold predictions pretty early on here, so there may be a bit of like carryover into bold prediction section.
Well, you can't really do bold predictions of the table because we're clearly just going through the table ones.
Yeah, but
Alex hasn't thought outside the box because it went to his head. The oracleness went to his head.
Well, no,
he's just gone wild with the table.
How did we do it last year then? Because we predicted all the promoted teams to go down, didn't we? And then my bold prediction was West Ham to go down. Is that no? It wasn't.
No, it was just part of your table. Bold predictions were just like I had Chris Wood to score under 5 goals, and I had Aston Villa to win a trophy. I've got a bit of weird ones later. They're not really related to. They're kind of both related to managers actually. They're not related to teams or players. But I found some random bold prediction. Do you want to hear my table bold prediction? Which is my next team in the list.
Okay, go on.
I've got Nottingham Forest finishing 9th.
Okay, another one of my bold predictions is Forest. Forest get relegated.
I knew you were going to say that after, given we have just recorded these episodes back to back, and we've just had a big old like disagreement about what we see Forest's output this season. That's a bold take, Cotton.
Got them finishing 18th.
18th. I've got them finishing 9th.
Just below Spurs.
You got Spurs finishing 17th again after spending like £300 million on Mateus Fernandes.
Spend as much as you want, still shit.
I don't see it. I see Glasner improving a talented group that finished 7th a season ago without European football in the way this season. I just think a few additions to suit Glasner's style. I don't think they need too much, and I think they'll kick on and bounce back. I think they'll be one of the teams that take advantage of so many other teams being in Europe as well.
I'm not gonna. Anyone who listened to last week will have listened. Will know what I'm gonna say. I see all the bad things happening, all going shit. Lose him as a manager, have to pay him out, which is he's getting paid 13 mil for his tenure there. So they're gonna have to spend so much money to get rid of him and then bring someone new in. I just see it all going tits up.
I knew we were going to be on opposite ends of the spectrum there.
Cool. I think I'll go next. I got Brentford in 9th, which I thought was a bit harsh on Brentford, but I mean, if they weren't going to do it last season...
I've got them in 11th, so...
It feels like, doesn't it? It just feels like... Fair, at one point I was thinking maybe relegation, but I thought that might be a bit too harsh. I don't see Thiago scoring those goals next season. I think we talked about our stuff a little bit. Then who does score those goals? Well,
that's the thing. And we talked about the signings they brought in: Callum Wilson, Jadon Anthony. Those to me are consolidating your place in mid-table. I don't think they move the needle. I think after what was a really disappointing end to the season, I don't think they've done enough, and I don't think they kick on well enough. I think there's still some cracks. I don't necessarily think Keith Andrews is the best manager in the world. I think he'll be solid for them. I think they'll be still the same old Brentford. They'll take some points off big teams and lose games where they have no business of losing them, sort of thing. And finishing 11th, I thought my first thought was, because they were the first team outside of European places last season, do they kick on and get a European spot? And then I started playing around, and then I was looking at the other teams, and I just thought, you know what, I just think they'll consolidate 10th, 11th, sort of. I have them finishing 11th. I think the team I've got in 10th, they'd be very, very tight.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I agree with you. That's why I've got them in 9th, in all honesty. So do you want to go on to your 10th?
Yeah. This one I'm a little bit unsure of now after we sort of had our last week's discussion and now looking at them. But I've got Newcastle finishing 10th, which feels a little bit high for them now that I see it there again.
Yeah, I've got them. Do you want to know what I got there?
Where have you got them?
17th.
19th. 19th. You got them getting relegated.
Yeah. My bold predictions is Newcastle and Forest to get relegated.
Wow. That would be mad.
I think there's a shake-up coming. This is going a lot off our top, promoted free episode, where I did get a lot more in-depth after talking to you about it all, and I felt a bit more confident for some of the teams coming up. But I think this is a season where a lot of Premier League clubs may have rested on their laurels a bit, and Newcastle, as they currently sit, feel a bit like that. I feel like we talked about last week, PIF aren't going to put the money that needs to go into it, and Eddie Howe wasn't doing well. How's Eddie Howe going to do better with worse players, without his best players? You can't do that anymore as a Premier League club. You can't say, I'm still all in the Premier League, I can't get relegated, I can lose all my best players and it'll all be fine. You can't.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm looking at them, it's way too high. And after our discussion in the last episode, where we were quite bleak about them, I don't know, I think the reason why I put them a bit higher was no Champions League football, and I think I'm just projecting a bit more stability around outside of the midfield, really. Like I mentioned, if you can get a solid, go back to being a solid defence as Newcastle were, and then also if Visser and Voltemada can come good, because I do still believe they're talented players, but I can very much see your vision, and seeing it. They almost feel a little bit like West Ham did last summer, where it's on paper, talented group, but actually what have they shown us in the last season?
it's just it, isn't it? If I was Palace and we had sold all those players and we hadn't finished the season well, I would be feared we're going to get relegated. I'm feared we're going to get relegated as it is. And we've kept most of our best players, but just changed our manager. Like, it's...
Is there anything to say about Eddie Howe having a flaw? Like, Bournemouth did get relegated under him, but it wasn't really, like, it was sort of coming. Like, they were punching above their weight when, at that time, Bournemouth. Whereas, like, Newcastle, you would think, like, they're decent enough. Like, I know you're a big fan of Malik Tior. Like, if Sven Botman can stay fit, I know you're not a big fan of Dan Burn, but
I mean, he did well at the World Cup, I'll give him that, but he also did just come on to be a big oaf. But my thing is, I don't think Eddie Howe makes it at the end of the season. And then I don't think they bring in a manager that the fans are going to want to see. I think someone drops out. I think someone drops out of one of the other Premier League clubs, and they fill in the gap with someone like a Gary O'Neill or something. It generally feels like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I can now we're talking about it, I feel much worse about putting Newcastle in 10th than I did when I did this on Sunday.
Yeah. It's
right.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next team. Who have you got next? I've got Brentford in 11th, so we've touched on them.
Where were Newcastle for you? They were 10th, weren't they?
10th, way too high.
Yeah, so I had Bournemouth in 10th, which I think's fair enough. First European campaign, new manager. I mean, I've got higher hopes for them than I do Palace, who are in the same situation. So
yeah, I've got them in 12th.
Yeah, is there much more to say than how I've summed it up there?
I mean, I think we went quite deep on Bournemouth in a couple of weeks ago episode because they were one of the top teams last season. Like, I think Europa League football does take a bit of a toll on the league performance, but I think they'll start pretty well before the Europa League proper kicks in and starts to have that impact. Similar to Palace last year, I think they get some points on the board. European nights take a bit of a knock, and then eventually I think they just settle into. I've put them down as 12th, but really I'd switch that with Newcastle and put them as 10th.
Yeah, that's fair. Cool. I then have... You had Brentford 11, didn't you? I have Sunderland at 11th.
I've got Sunderland at 11th. I have them down in 16th.
That's fair as well. I feel like this group of teams until the relegation zone, for me, were very interchangeable, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. It was quite difficult to place these. I put Sunderland back down in 16th because I just think there'll be a bit of regression. Like we were calling for it, sort of how well they outperformed last year, and then also the Europe. I don't think they've done enough in the transfer window so far I think it'll just cause a bit of a slide, but not enough that it'll be a full-on relegation battle. I just sort of see them prioritising some European nights and then ending up the Thursday, Sunday of it all ending up taking a bit of its toll on them.
Yeah, I'd agree. I just think they're going to do better than the other teams I have below them. I just think Stadium of Light probably still stays a fortress for quite a few teams that they have. But cool. Then 12th. Who's your 12th? Have we already said them?
Yeah, I had Bournemouth in 12th.
Okay, I got Fulham in 12th, but after last week's episode, I'm not really confident on that anymore, if I'm being honest.
Well, so, my boldest table prediction is I have them in 18th, getting relegated.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that now.
Like, we talked about it last week, but I think Arbeloa's football is going to be really expansive but costly. I don't think they have enough in attack, and I think they'll be too open at the back and not able to. I think they'll make too many mistakes too early in the season. I think it'll be too difficult to come back from. Similar case to West Ham last year. Like, you look at some of the names on a piece of paper, and it's like talented players, but actually as a cohesive unit, I just think this is too much to ask. I just have a vision of them going down.
Yeah, I'm not happy with putting them at 12th, in all honesty. I think they should be a bit lower. But
you can't relegate them and have all three promoted teams staying up.
No, I definitely can't be doing that. I cannot. That would be really harsh. But hey ho. 13th. Who do you have 13th?
I had Leeds. We've touched on my 13th.
Got Palace at 13th, more out of hope than anything.
I've got them at 14th.
Yeah, one of my bold predictions might be Palace getting relegated, but I want to have more faith. I think, yeah, we've probably talked enough about it. 14th at Brighton, because they always like finishing below us.
I've got them as 15th, and my note for them is, well, what did Palace do last year?
Even when they finish above us, we still do better than them. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Sorry, Brighton fans.
Never. Then my 15th is Ipswich. Don't know why.
Ipswich in 15th?
Yeah. Well, you got to realise that I have Spurs in 17th, and then I have Forest and Newcastle getting relegated, so just naturally what that
bold predictions have fudged some numbers. This is where, like, the bold predictions that you were saying a few minutes ago, this is where they're coming to roost now, where actually you've got who I have down in 20th, Ipswich. You've got them finishing 15th. I think the transfer window has been a disappointment so far. I think Gary O'Neill doesn't get the tractor boys on his side. Like, I don't think the fans are gonna really. I don't think the football's going to be good enough. I don't think the fans there's going to be enough well wishing from the fans to get them on it, like to get them on his side. Like, as much as I'm sure they do want him to do well, it just doesn't strike me as a match made in heaven. And it, like, the players that they're bringing in just kind of feel a bit like stabs in the dark kind of thing. Like, it doesn't feel like there's like a cohesive, like, this is our plan of action, this is who we like plan to bring in this summer. It's just kind of, we have to sign 8 to 9 Premier League level players, like, and it's just like, it's almost like they've gone on FIFA and gone, give me anyone who's rated 77 to 80.
But my thing, I agree with you on the Gary O'Neill stuff, and I think he won't last very long, but I think they'll get a major manager bounce by the manager that comes in. I think he'll rally.
Kieran McKenna comes back from the dead, and
could you imagine? That'd be like,
that would be incredible. But I
see something like that.
I think I could definitely agree with seeing O'Neill losing his job, but I feel if it might be, it feels like a little bit like Burnley last year, where they maybe give him too long, and then they sack him, and it's like, oh, sorry, we gave you January and it didn't turn around, and now the new manager doesn't have a transfer window. Yeah,
but I don't think they can give him too long because of what you said about his ties with like Norwich and whatnot. So I think the fans can prove to get rid of him quite quickly. This is so mean what we're talking about here. So I can see that they bring someone in, good feelings around Portman Road, and I think once you get some good feelings and they get some points on the board, I think they could go on a little bit of a run and keep themselves in the league. I don't think you're going to need that many points to stay up this year either. Like, I really don't. Because
no,
I think the top 5, top 6 are going to take points off everyone by signing everyone's talent. I think it's going to be a real dicking across the board for the other 14, annoyingly. I don't think there's going to be a standout like Villa did, taking points off everyone and finishing quite high. I think it's going to be a real desolate one this year, and you're going to need something like 25 points or something stupid to stay up.
You're going to need more than that, surely.
Yeah, you will.
Like, I have Coventry staying up as my one of the as my promoted team staying up. I've got them finishing 17th. I think I see these bottom 4 teams as quite clearly the sort of worst 4 teams in the league. And I think I sort of see Coventry similar to how I saw Leeds last season, as being like, they can do enough to stay up. Like, I think they have enough talent. I think Frank Lampard, mixed bag in the Premier League, but has experience of a relegation battle and kept Everton upright that first season at least. And I think they can do that. I think they can make some smart signings in the summer. I think they've got some experience, like with like Frank Onyeka. It sounds like Ruben Loftus-Cheek is going to sign, sort of thing. So like, I think they'll just be a bit wily enough, like Leeds were last year, to just be like, 17th is all we need, guys. We can be the best of this bunch of 4 that I've got at the bottom.
Yeah, I've got them in 16th, and you kind of swayed me with it when we did our episode with them about them being able to play both ways. Lampard knowing a bit about the Premier League, even though I really don't rate him as a manager, I've just got a bit of faith in him. And to do something like Sunderland did this season, where being out of the Premier League for a long time, come back, make an absolute ball of it, and yeah, I'm confident with it. Who have we? Are we missing Hull now? I think that's the only team we
Yeah.
haven't spoke about. I've got Hull rock bottom. Unfortunately, it's just because I don't feel there's enough there.
I've got them in 19th. I think they make a lot of new signings, but that ends up taking a minute to gel, and they make a entertaining fist of staying up, but ultimately not enough. I picture like Blackpool season, like I picture even Luton Town a couple of seasons ago, sort of thing. Like they win some admirers, they pull off some bizarre signings that end up being like cult classics, like Pete Barclay's sort of stuff. But I just think eventually it's not enough. They have to do too much.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that as well. Feel a bit harsh, but I couldn't.
I mean, someone's got to finish down there, as I found out last season.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Cool. What do you want to move on to next then? Bold predictions or MVP?
We'll do our other 14 MVP, and then we'll move on to the bold predictions. I've got this was a really tough one to think about, because
Yeah,
I didn't just want to pick a boring name, like someone like I didn't just want to be like, oh yeah, Ollie Watkins, he'll score another 16 goals and that'll be the best of the other 14 or whatever. I've gone for Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. I looked at the teams that I expected to make a leap up, Everton being the main one that I had finishing 5 places above where they finished last season. And I think we talked about it last week, the amount of of good that comes through Everton, that flows through Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, like the amount that he puts on his shoulders, the goals that he chips in with, defensive contributions. He kind of does. He can do everything in that midfield as the number 10, and I think he sort of really sets the tone for Everton, where like Iliman Ndiaye is the flashiest piece, like he's the maverick sort of thing. Dewsbury Hall, you're getting an 8 out of 10 with him almost every week.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. I mean, I kind of had a collection of MVPs who included Barry from Everton. Just thought there could be a chance he kicks on and it all works. I've shocked you with a lot of this, haven't I?
Yeah, the oracleness has really gone to your head this time. I didn't anticipate it, so it's been surprising. It's been refreshing, but it's been surprising.
Yeah, I've had Barry. I agree with you. Someone from Everton kind of had to be there if I'm finishing so high. So
yeah,
I went between like him and Brathwaite. Brathwaite's back, but it's kind of hard to do it when he hasn't played football for so goddamn long. So he was, yeah, it was that. Harry Wilson, because he's
I was waiting for you to talk about Harry Wilson again. This is the Harry Wilson podcast.
Well, what surprising go for Alex Scott is because he once gone of your beloved Bournemouth. Is that why you haven't not mentioned him?
Yeah, I didn't know if he was going to still be at Bournemouth, so I didn't put him in there. Plus, also, they've got Europe. I have them finishing a few places down in the league, sort of thing. Like, it didn't strike me as interesting enough, given how much we talked about Alex Scott at the end of the season.
I was going to go for more Gibbs White, but I thought he'd probably be gone by halfway through the season from Forest. I think he'd just hit the ground running really hard, and then someone will snap him up in January. And then
that.
Well, Marinakis with a gun to his head, guess not. That'll be it.
Yeah. That boy's never leaving. He's not leaving.
And then 2 kind of biased ones, obviously being Palace. I think Cambo's just going to go strength for strength, and Jeremy Pino I think is going to really stand out this season. So
yeah, you're back in the Jeremy Pino remontada.
I really am. But yeah, okay, let's move on to bold predictions. Even though I've had so many bold predictions already.
Yeah, Alex is drunk on bold predictions right now. I've got one that is kind of, it's not convoluted, right? It's just a bit random. I've got 2 about managers. The first one is, I think there will be 5 or fewer managerial changes in the Premier League during the season. So between match day 1 and match day 38, I think there'll be 5 or fewer. This would be, so since the start of the 2016-17 season, so the last 10 seasons, there've been an average of 12 per season during the season, and less than 5 has only happened once in that span, and that was 2020-21 with 4 managers.
Was that COVID?
That was COVID season, yeah.
Probably why. That is a bold prediction that is never coming true. I will... If you're willing to bet, I will bet you 50 quid that doesn't happen.
No, I don't. This is a
Yeah.
bold prediction, so I'm not putting money behind it. No, I just think how many like we saw so many managerial changes last year, and this is absolute fool's gold putting this in there because Marinakis exists. Marinakis had this many managers last year in the last 12 months with just one team. So it is crazy, but like I just think there was so many managerial changes last season that I think it regresses a little, like it settles a little bit. Teams sort of go the other way, go, well, let's give them a season. We don't want to be paying five managers like gardening leave money sort of thing. It is bold. It's not going to happen, but I think that's my bold prediction.
Fair. I mean, kind of linking to your ones, I have Glasner gone the day after the Palace away game for Forest. That's one of my bold ones.
What date is that Palace away game?
You
said it was like the sixth game of the season, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So is that before the September international break? It will be, right?
10th of October.
Okay, so after the international break.
Yeah, it's the game after the international break. I see it.
Mate, that could well be the fifth manager like gone. But by that point, it could blow my bold prediction out of the water. Okay, my next one then
wait, can I just for your next one? Can I just say okay. I'm saying that about Glasner? It's probably more likely that Pierre Sarge goes the game after when we go away to Brighton. that's just a prediction or even a bold one because that's probably what's going to happen. Sorry, go on. Your next one.
My next one is Roy Hodgson comes in to take charge of Fulham, but it's too late to keep them up.
What a prediction! I wish I'd come up with that.
I was looking at them and I was like, I was thinking about managers, and then I was like, oh, do you remember last season when Roy Hodgson took over at Bristol City? I want to say, and it was just like he was just like. All the comments you heard were just him just like, yeah, I don't know who these players are, like, I don't know what I'm doing, like, I'm just experienced in it, just my wife was bored of me sitting around the house, so kicks me off down to Bristol. Absolutely. Can't you just see this happening?
Yes,
like Alvaro Abalawa gets sacked in March or something, and like the last like Hail Mary from Fulham, and they go, get Roy back. It was like, bring him home after how many years?
That is so happening because I still love him at Fulham as well. There's no way that's not happening. Yes, you're done.
I mean, if they don't do it, then Palace are doing it in October.
I don't like how all our bold predictions are linking back to Palace somehow as well. Oh god damn it. Okay, my next bold prediction is there'll be at one point this season in the Premier League there'll be no bald managers, which is sad times. That's sad times for us. Because I think...
Are we just talking other 14 or are we talking the whole Premier League?
Whole Premier League, because there currently isn't any bald managers in the other 14.
No. Enzo Maresca is...
The only one?
The only one? So
yeah.
You think he'll get sacked at Man City and then that'll be it for the Baldies?
Yeah, I think it will be.
Man, representation matters, Alex. We need ball managers.
We do. I'm pointing out because I'm worried about it.
Right. My last bold prediction is that I think no English teams will win in Europe this year.
In the whole of Europe? Damn.
Yeah, I think this is proper bold, given how much we've said over the last few months that Brighton have to win the Conference League, given West Ham, Palace have done so, and Chelsea did so. Villa won in the Europa League last year. I just think there's question marks on the three teams in the Europa League, like Bournemouth, Sunderland, first European seasons either ever or in 40 odd years, and Palace, the managerial changes, like the turnover that they've had this summer. If they had Glasner, I would have been like, yeah, Palace are going to go off and win the Europa League. Like, it would just, the consistency would be there. I think there's just a big question mark over whether they can do that this season. And then the big one is Brighton. We talked about it so much. There's so much pressure on them now to win that trophy, where there wasn't pressure on West Ham. Well, there was a healthy amount of pressure on West Ham and Palace to win it. Like, it was expected. They were the favourites. Yeah. But now that West Ham and Palace have won that trophy, Brighton have to win it. Otherwise, especially Palace winning it, because it is literally just like your rivals won it last year. If you can't do this, you've just given them so much like stick to beat you with.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's kind of weird how our last predictions kind of link up. Mine was Brighton to lose the Conference League final and Lewis Dunk to cry and retire from football that night.
Oh, that's a harsh one. I was at least more general with it. You were very pointed with that dig.
Not at all. Not at all.
You specifically named someone. You didn't even just name the team. You named a player and was like, he will cry.
Yes. What can I say? It's just how I feel.
It's all right. There are no Brighton fans who actually listen to this podcast because
if you do, you're brave and thank you.
they would be having to listen to you would be the end of them.
Yeah, it would be. Cool. Anyway, I think that's us done for predictions.
That is us done, and we'll be back next time with our recap of game week 1.
Yeah, recap game 1.
Oh, we haven't done predictions. Should we do predictions for match week 1?
Might as well, actually, yeah. It's not a bad idea. Let's just get the Premier League fixtures up.
Pull them up.
Okay.
2 seconds.
Arsenal, Coventry, Friday night kickoff to get going. My God, how much I'd love Coventry to win that and Arsenal just to have the worst season ever. Oh my God, it'd be glorious. Fuck it, I'm gonna manifest it. 1-0 Coventry.
It feels possibly banana skinny. I think I'm gonna go 2-2. Desmond straight off the bat.
Nice. Then Saturday, the 12:30 kickoff. Hull, Man United. I think, unfortunately, probably a 3-0 United.
I'm gonna back Hull to impress. Really? I'm gonna go Hull 1-0. Just completely surprise everyone.
Do you think it's banana skin because it's at the Hull KR Stadium? What's it called now?
I don't know.
Go there.
What is it called? The MKM Stadium.
Yeah, MKM Stadium. My bad. I had tickets.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably wrong, but first game back for Hull in the league. I think we're going to see some funky results in the first few weeks of the season, like you mentioned with the World Cup. Yeah. I think that's going to impact a lot of the teams, and Man United definitely. I think it's going to impact them.
Yeah, fair. Then the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Everton Palace 3-0 Everton. Just take our beating and move on.
Yeah, 2-0 Everton.
Yep, easy one that one. Ipswich Sunderland. I think Ipswich 1-0 here.
Ipswich Sunderland. No, I've got Sunderland winning 2-1.
Really? I don't know. I think they're going to go to Portman Road and struggle. First game of the season. Forest Leeds 3, Forest 0.
I'm going to go 1-1. Steady
cool.
Start for both.
Brentford Spurs, G-Tech 5:30 kickoff. We all know how this goes. Brentford 2-0.
Yeah, Brentford 2-0.
Cool. It's ridiculous how they got enough under the lights at the G-Tech already. Goddamn.
Against Spurs of all teams.
Against Spurs, literally. Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff. Brighton Villa, probably 1-2 to Villa.
I'm going to go 3-2 Villa.
Yeah. City, Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth 2-1.
I think that's a tough one for Marco Rosa's first game. I think City 2-0.
I don't think it's that tough because I think he's probably going to go in there with a system that he trusts and he knows. I don't trust Maresca to have his City team sorted in that time.
Maybe you're right. I think it's just a tough place to go for the first game.
Cool. Then the late kickoff, Newcastle Liverpool, probably a Liverpool 2-0, if not maybe a bloodbath 4-5-0.
I think Liverpool 3-1.
Yeah. Then West London derby on the Monday night, Fulham Chelsea.
I'm going Chelsea 2-0.
Going Chelsea 4-0.
Sorry, Fulham fans. It's been a rough podcast for you guys.
It really has. I mean, we're not going to talk about the big teams, but I think they've signed so many people, good players, and they've got some of them seemingly have better managers in place now as well to do something. So it feels like it's just going to be a bit of a battering for us this year, all round. I hope it's not the case. I pray it's not the case, but it just feels a bit flat for me going into it all. But hey-oh.
Hey, we'll see.
Sorry for
the Oracle has spoken.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, feel free to rate and review the podcast and tell your friends how fucking idiotic I am and how bad my predictions have been. Feel free to follow on socials, Insta, TikTok, Blue Sky, Reddit at other14fc podcast, or email it at other14fcpodcast@gmail.com. But yeah, see you next week to actually talk about some Premier League football and not be rambling about boring shit that no one probably cared about for this time.
Yeah, man, looking forward to it.
Catch you later, bye.